Hello, welcome to this edition of Momentum. I'm your host, Robert Green. I'm happy today to have in the studio Ms. Holly Potts. Ms. Potts is an instructor of engineering graphics in our industrial and systems engineering program, and she led a study abroad course this summer that we're going to talk about. Holly, welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here.
Appreciate it.
So tell us, how did things go? You taught engineering graphics this summer in Scandinavia.
I did.
How was it?
It was great. We had a great group of students and we did a lot of fun things, saw a lot of sites, and I really appreciate Bagley College of Engineering giving me the opportunity to do this, and it was really a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Yeah, well, of course we want more students to participate and study abroad, and having great instructors I think makes a big part of that. So I have two-part question here for you. One, you're an instructor of engineering graphics. What is it about engineering graphics that you like and enjoy teaching?
So engineering graphics is a technical drawing class, and I have been teaching it on and off since 2002. And it, first of all, I just really love interaction with students and getting to know them better. And this class is very interactive, and that's one of the reasons that I really enjoy teaching it, is because I'm not just standing in front of the students lecturing, I do get to interact with them a good bit. It's more like a lab class, and so it works really well to be able to interact with students.
Yeah. So why did you think that would be a good class to teach in Scandinavia?
So I think that the thought behind it was that the class is a technical drawing class, but we learn at first in the class how to do drawings with pencil and paper, and then we transition to a computer program. And so once we're doing the drawings on a computer program, it's very easy to teach that in a different setting, and students can work kind of at their own pace on those drawings that they're doing on the computer. So in addition to just the actual course, being able to see things in person and see how things work really adds to the class. And so for my on-campus class, they don't get to see as much of that. And so really, like, designing a bridge, which we don't do that in my class, but we learn how to draw that, and then being able to see an actual bridge, you know, it sort of puts those things together.
Okay. So we've offered study abroad courses in many countries, the United Kingdom, Rome, we've had them in Spain, France. I think this is our first one in Scandinavia. So why Scandinavia? Why not some other country?
Well, first of all, when Galina and I talked about this, we did have a program in Rome and we did have a program in Germany already. And I personally have some connections with Scandinavia. My mother-in-law is actually from Sweden, and over the 20 years I've been married into that family, I've been to Sweden several times. And it's beautiful in the summer, and the weather is unbelievable in the summer. And so I thought, I have family there already. I've been there several times. This would be a great place for me to go. And then Galina was very excited about that because it was somewhere different for students to be able to go. So Galina and I went on a trip to kind of scout everything out. In addition to Sweden, we went to Denmark and Norway, and I thought that would be a great way to incorporate those countries as well. And so that's how we settled on Scandinavia.
Okay. So I know you had a great time, and those are all great countries. Mm-hmm. Did you have a favorite one you visited?
Yes. I'm ashamed to say in front of my mother-in-law, but I really enjoyed Denmark. It is just such a welcoming place, and the people are just so amazing, and it's beautiful, and it's centrally located, so I really enjoyed Denmark. Although I do love Sweden still, and Norway would be the third.
Okay. Was there any particular part of this trip that was especially pertinent to engineering graphics?
Well, yes, so several parts, but we did we did several excursions that kind of blended engineering with the culture. So one of the most unique things that we did was we toured a waste management plant.
Interesting.
That has a ski slope on top of it. It's a beautiful aluminum building in the middle of Copenhagen, and it is extremely clean. And then there's a ski slope on top that has a plastic mesh slope. And so you can ski year-round. There were people skiing when we were there, snowboarding. They were having a huge competition that weekend where it was basically an Olympic trial.
Okay.
And so very unique, and it looks over all of Copenhagen, because Copenhagen is a very flat city, and so they don't have anywhere to ski even really close by. So this kind of gives people in the city an opportunity to do that. And the waste management plant itself, inside, extremely clean, and everything was automated. They only have 4 employees.
Wow.
Which was really fascinating for our students. And then we go up to the top and see this amazing view. So that was very unique. And then we also took a tour of the bridges of Stockholm. And so that gave us, a spectrum of classical bridges and modern bridges and all kinds of different things. And so that was interesting. And then we also went to the Vasa Museum, which is a 17th century Viking ship that sank on its maiden voyage. And then they salvaged it and put everything back together, and it's in a museum. It's been there since 1990. And it was very top heavy, and that's why they think that it sank, and it was windy on the day of the maiden voyage. So anyway, that was very interesting for the students, and sort of engineering gone wrong.
Yeah. Well, we can learn a lot from what goes wrong sometimes.
Exactly.
So what was a typical day like, both for a student and for you as an instructor? It sounds like you had a lot of fun, and I know you had some work to do in there. So just how to go on a typical day?
Definitely. So I started my day usually very early in the morning and got up and sort of planned the day ahead. And when I say plan the day ahead, planning logistics, transportation, all that kind of thing. Public transportation is what we primarily used, and just like knowing the stops and what times the trains run and all that kind of stuff is, something we don't do much here in Mississippi. So I was planning the day, and then we would have class usually from 9 to 12, 10 to 1, and then have lunch, and then we would usually go out on an excursion and see a site, go to a palace or, something historic, and then usually in the evenings they would be on their own.
Okay. So clearly taking the course was important. I mean, this did help many students satisfy degree requirements. But
Sure.
What's the advantage? What is it you think students should really get out of a study abroad experience other than just the course content?
Well, you can get so much. You can get as little as much out of it as you want to. But I personally believe that everyone should study abroad. And that is because you get an appreciation of where you've come from and your home state, your home city, your country, and all of the things that you appreciate about home, but you also see a whole nother world, a new culture, and appreciate things that we could improve upon here. And immersing yourself and living in that for, a couple of weeks gives you a sense of appreciation for those things.
Not to mention ski slopes on top of waste management facilities.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Where else are you going to find that?
Yeah. Well, how many students did you have go, and how did they get along?
I had 10 students, which is kind of a small group, but it actually worked out really well. I had 4 female students, 6 male students, and it was such a small group that they did pretty much everything together, and some really unlikely friendships formed, especially when you're sharing a bedroom with, 5 other guys. You get pretty close to them pretty quickly, and so that was great to see those relationships form.
Okay. Well, so you mentioned sharing a bedroom. Can you tell us a little bit, where did the students stay? What were those arrangements like?
So they stayed in hostels, and back a long time ago when I was their age, hostels were not very nice.
Yeah.
But now they are basically hotels.
Okay.
And they have restaurants and games and activities. Some of them even have, swimming pools. They're really nice. The arrangements were, they did share a room, so the 6 males shared a room, but they had a private bathroom in that room,
Okay.
and the 4 females shared a room, and they had a private bathroom. And that was the same in all 3 locations that we went to.
So where was the class taught?
So the majority of the class was taught in the hostel. So they also have meeting rooms and gathering spaces. And so we would just get out our computers and work, and people would ask questions and we would answer the questions. And we had so many people come up to us that, said, oh, well, I'm an engineer, or I'm a designer,
Good.
and that was really interesting. Or I'm working on AutoCAD right now, so.
Well, I know the costs for study abroad programs vary based on where you stay and which country it's in. What was the cost of this program to the students?
So the actual program fee was $4,295, and the program fee includes your housing, some meals, public transportation, some activities, that kind of thing. And then it does not include your tuition, it does not include your flight, and it does not include most of your meals. So you can eat very meagerly and save money, or you can splurge. It just kind of depends on the student. But there are scholarships available.
Yep.
If you're in the Honors College, they offer $2,000 scholarship towards the study abroad program. Some are $4,000. And even like presidential scholars get $6,000 or maybe even more than that. So,
In 3 words or so, what advice would you have for someone, student or faculty, considering study abroad?
do it.
Do it.
And don't hesitate.
Do it. Sounds good. Sounds like good advice. Well, thank you for doing that. It sounds like you had a good time, and the students did as well. I want to thank you all for joining us. I look forward to seeing you and being with you next time for the next edition of Momentum.